Good morning and welcome back to Flashback Friday here on Gaming with ADHD, where we are continuing our look at the Renegade Legion series of games from FASA. Now, today we're going to take a look at Leviathan, originally released in 1988. This details capital ship combat in the Renegade Legion universe. So, think, large starships like Star Destroyers, that kind of stuff. And it's the third, we'll call it, real entry into the series of games released for Renegade Legion. Now, what we're going to do today is we're just going to do basically an unboxing. What are the contents that you actually get out of Leviathan? And yeah, we'll take a look at the rulebooks, get some first impressions before I actually get in and start playing the game. But before we do that, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I try to put out a few different videos each week covering all sorts of tabletop content, and I've been able to put together an entire collection of Renegade Legion, and so I'm going to be covering those on Fridays for at least the next few weeks. So make sure you're subscribed. I'd love to have you come along and see what I have to share. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so first off, we have our box. Now, this was pretty standardized for the boxes that you would get from FASA at the time. About 2 inches thick. Again, pretty normal, containing all the contents. And obviously on the back of the box, we're going to get just a quick description of the game. Basically describing that this is a game of large ship combat. We get our 64-page rulebook, a booklet of forms, 25 playing pieces, a 10-sided dice, two 22 by 34 map sheets, and 4 sheets of flat counters representing squadrons of fighters, missiles, gunboats, and more. So, just like Interceptor was a game about starfighter combat, Leviathan is a game of starship combat. All right. So, let's see. First off, obviously, we've got our D10. Everything in Renegade Legion is based off of the D10. We also get a 1993 FASA catalog. So, I mean, basically right at their height for me. All the BattleTech novels, Shadowrun, all of that stuff, going on at that time. So that's actually kind of cool to see. But I'm gonna skip that. We could do an entire video just on that alone. All right, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll rotate our box, fit that in the screen a little better. All right, so we do have our rulebook. So, done in a typical FASA landscape fashion, recreating the box cover art, table of contents. So this is, again, designed by Ross Babcock, Sam Lewis, and Jordan Weissman. They were pretty much, the key on a lot of the Renegade Legion products. There were a lot of other authors and writers. I know Blaine Pardoe, of BattleTech fame, has his name all over the place in Renegade Legion. So we get basically an introduction. Leviathan is a game that simulates combat between the huge battleships and other capital ships and the swarms of fighter squadrons that make up the main strength of the interstellar navies of the Terran Overlord government and the Commonwealth and their Renegade Legion allies. So, there's your quick elevator pitch. Quick setup, map sheet layout. So I haven't looked at it yet, but I believe it's going to use the same map sheets as you would see in Interceptor, but they're going to use a different scale as far as what each hex represents. So let's see. All right, we've got a slightly different movement phase, it looks like. Basically, the larger ships are going to move first down to the smaller ships. So basically representing that the large ships Because they are slower, it's easier to see what they're doing and kind of anticipate their movements, and so the small ships get to go last. And then we go into our combat phase. Again, it's just some classic FASA art. But again, just this upgraded art that they did for Renegade Legion. You know, it looks like it was a full color painting that they just converted to black and white. So, all right, we've got our power allocation, movement, movement for large ships, 3 hex, 4 hex, 2 hex, 1 hex, stacking. That is one downside. It is space combat, so technically you have 3 dimensions, but your map is only 2-dimensional. Firing arcs for your ships based on their size. I mean, honestly, this isn't going to be that complex. I mean, we're up to page 18, dealing with a lot of the weapon systems. And my suspicion is that the rules are going to end here soon. Yeah, so page 28 is when we finish the main rules, and then page 29 we get to the optional rules. So that was one thing I did like about those, the older games, is your rules really wouldn't be that complex. Now, you'd run into some issues, but that's fine. Overall, they were still very, very playable. I mean, the original BattleTech rules are still in use for BattleTech. You know, there's no reason that it has to get super complex. All right, we've then got ship descriptions, ship construction rules. So, let's take a look at these. All right, there we go. All right, so we've got a Tog battleship, the Shiva. Nice narrow profile here. The Syracuse. The Bantha. The Serpens. The Fulgur. The Carthage. Valiant. I absolutely love these designs. Ajax. Exeter. And the County. Alright, then we get some scenarios. So just how are you going to set up the space maps? What forces you're going to use. So 2, 3. Okay, so you get 3 different scenarios. Some more backgrounds, technology, and that's it. So 64 pages. Nice Renegade Legion R. Alright, we then got our record sheet. So lots of boxes, lots of armor. The internal components. So different record sheets for the different classes. Destroyers, frigates. None of these are pre-made, so you will want to make copies. I'm not entirely sure what this sheet is. Orbital installations. Alright, now we get to our tokens. Let's zoom in on these. So this looks like it's like you could set it up for like a group of starships. Again, the art is just classic. Missile flights, debris. Satellites, asteroids. Duplicates. Alright, so we've got 2 of each of the smaller tokens. Alright, now we've got some big ships. Probably a cruiser. Yeah, CA, so which is cruiser. BB is typically battleship. Again, I love this art. I love what they've done with it. It looks great. It looks fun. So technically that's all you get. Nothing super fancy. Oh. They are double-sided. Now, I wonder if they did that so that you could go in and color in your own starships. I don't know. If they did, that's super awesome. Now I want to photocopy these. Probably wiser than punching it. I don't know. All right. So, yeah. So, we've got our standard. Yeah. See, these even say Renegade Legion Interceptor on the map. So, it's the exact same maps that you're going to get for Interceptor. So this means obviously you can make giant games of Interceptor. Got an ad for Night Shift Games, the company that took over the license. We've got a FASA order form. And that's it. So that's Renegade Legion Leviathan. Now, interesting factoid that I learned recently is, well, I've heard it put 2 ways. I've heard some people say that originally FASA was trying to get a Star Wars license, but I've also heard that they were just trying to spin off of Star Wars. So take something similar and just put their own spin on it. And technically both could be pretty accurate. But when you look at the totality of the product lines, you have the starfighter combat, you have the ground combat, you have the capital ship combat. All of those things, you could easily file the serial numbers off and turn this into a game about Star Wars. Because especially since they gave rules to integrate the different games and do different things with them, I think was fantastic. So overall, I'm pretty excited about this. I have also heard that this is supposed to be the what battle space was derived from the BattleTech game of Starship Combat. So, regardless, there's a lot of cool stuff here. It's a fun look back at the old, the early days of gaming when we saw a lot of these kind of map and counter type games. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Like I said, I'll be putting out a few different videos each week. But regardless, thank you so much for time. And we'll see you next time. Bye.